So far we've only talked about the vertex form of a quadratic equation, but unfortunately, your equation will always not be in that form. So first of all, just to remind you, vertex form, and the reason it's called vertex form is because you can tell what the vertex is just by looking at the equation. So here my vertex would be +3, +2. This is your horizontal shift. It's always the opposite sign of what you see, so +3. This is your vertical shift. It's always going to be the same sign, so +2. But sometimes your equation will be in what's called standard form. And standard form looks like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So it's going to look like this, which doesn't look anything like our vertex form. There's no parentheses. Your x squared is directly on the x. And so now you can't just look at it and know what the vertex is. You have to do some math first. So the formula that you use to find the x value of your vertex is going to be this, minus b over 2a. So you're going to take the opposite of b and you're going to divide it by 2 times a. And remember, b is the thing that's in front of what's called the linear term, which is just the x term. And the a is always going to be the number that's going to be in front of the x squared term. And once you have the x value of the vertex, you can plug that into this equation here to find your y value. Once you have your vertex, you can then go ahead and graph it like you would using your pattern. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. I'll leave that up. So if I have y equals x squared plus 4x minus 5. Well, this is clearly not in vertex form, so I'm going to have to use this formula because this is in standard form, ax squared plus bx minus c. So the first thing I know is that my a value is 1 because there's nothing in front of the x squared, so 1 is assumed. My b value is 4, and my c value, though I don't need it for my vertex form, my c value is -5. Your c value, just as a note, is always going to tell you where it crosses the y-axis. So if we wanted to find the vertex, we're going to say x is minus b over 2a. Well, b is 4, so I have to do minus 4 over 2 times a, which is 1. So minus 4 divided by 2 will give me a -2. So now I know the x value of my vertex is -2. But I need to know what the y value is. So I'm going to take this -2 and I'm going to plug it in to this equation. Everywhere I see x, I'm going to put in -2. So I'm going to have y equals -2. I have to put that in parentheses because I'm going to be squaring it. Plus 4 times -2 minus 5. All I've done is everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a -2. Now I have to do the math out. Well, -2 times a -2 is a 4. 4 times a -2 is a -8 or -8. And then I just have to carry down this -5. I'm going to do this first. 4 minus 8 is a -4 minus 5. So that means my y value is a -9. So I know my vertex is at -2, -9. Once I know that my vertex is at -2, -9, let me just put that up here. My vertex is at -2, -9. I can now use that to graph my quadratic equation by using my pattern. So I'm going to plot my vertex, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm off my graph a little bit, but you get the idea. From over here, I'm going to use my pattern. I'm going to go over 1, up 1. I'm going to go over 2, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to reflect those points over my axis of symmetry, and then I can just connect those dots, and now I've graphed it. So graphing from standard form, you have to find the vertex form first. Once you find your vertex, then you use your pattern to graph it. Let's do another example on how to find the vertex. I have y equals x squared minus 10x minus 1. All right, my a value again is 1. My b value is negative 10, and my c value is negative 1. Again, I don't really need my c value, but it's good to know for future reference. So the x is going to always be minus b over 2a. Well, now my 10 is negative. So if I plug in a negative into this minus b, I'm going to get negative 10, which would be a positive 10 over 2 times 1. 10 divided by 2 would be 5. So now I know the x value of my vertex is 5. To find the y value, I have to plug it back into this equation everywhere I see x. Instead of putting x, I'm going to put 5. So I'm going to get 5 squared minus 10 times 5 minus 1. Well, 5 squared, 5 times 5 would be 25. 10 times 5 would be 50, and then minus 1. 25 minus 50 would be minus 25, and then minus 1. So my y value is negative 26. So now I know my vertex is at 5, negative 26. If you have any questions, let me know.